Okay, guys, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. I am super excited to welcome back to the show a returning guest, an absolute legend in the paranormal world. We are going down the rabbit hole with
Yeah.
David. How
Hey,
are you, my
Tommy.
brother? Welcome back, man.
Thank you so much, man. I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man.
You're looking good.
Thanks. Thanks. I cut off some weight, you know what I'm saying? Just got a haircut just for you, Tommy. I know
Thank
it's
you.
gonna be
Thank you.
on.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
got the snips, bro.
I'm, gr-
Get nice
I'm,
and clean.
I've grown my hair back. It's good.
Dude, it
It's
looks good,
back.
brother.
It's back.
Check you out, man. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Dude,
you,
any
man.
more hair, you're gonna end up looking like Bigfoot.
That's the aim. That's the goal. That's the goal, man.
Oh man.
So for anyone that doesn't know you, I'm sure they do because you've got
Yeah.
quite a following. I mean, I can't tell you how often someone sends me one of your reels.
You're kidding.
It's daily, 100%. I get
That's
so many,
awesome,
and I
man.
don't know if though, because not everyone knows that we know each other, probably, and
Yeah.
that we're good buddies. But I
Yeah.
get your reels because obviously I see them anyway because I follow you. But
That's
people
freaking
send me
awesome, man.
your stuff constantly, man.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. For those that don't know, I'm David from Down the Rabbit Hole. I have I guess a pretty popular Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, YouTube page that have around right now it's up to about a quarter million followers on all platforms. I think the highest one is Instagram has 145,000.
Let's
Facebook's
go.
like I know it's 61,000 for Facebook, so it's grown quite a bit since
Hmm.
I last was on the show. I've
Yeah,
been
man.
really fortunate to make some bonuses off of Instagram. Instagram pays me a little bit, which is nice. I like to keep that going. You
For
know what I'm saying?
sure, brother. For sure,
I want to start working
man.
on my YouTube page. I really want to build that one up.
Yeah. Well, as
But
someone who spends a lot of time on social media myself, like, I know how hard it is to build a following. Like I'm nowhere near
yeah,
you, and
it's difficult, right? It's
it
really
is,
hard to
man.
like gain interest and stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You do an incredible job, brother.
thank you so much, man. That means a
And
lot coming from you.
you've also got a podcast, One
Yeah.
Something podcast with Amanda, which is a
Yeah, we
great
have
show.
it's what we call our Survivor series. So like every 10 episodes we'll do a Survivor series that's called One Something.
Hmm.
But the
Oh
main
yeah,
episodes is One Nothing
yeah.
podcast. And yeah, it's Amanda and me. And I'm starting to tell stories now. You were actually on our
Yes.
Patreon once when I
Yeah, great
told one of
time.
my stories. Dude, I needed you there, man. You supported me, and I was like, yes, that's what I need. Is Tommy here so I can tell my first story ever. It was awesome. Well, I'm telling stories now, and
You,
I've done quite a few.
mhm.
I'm about to do another one coming up pretty soon. It's going to be about, well, I really shouldn't say. I don't think Amanda
G-
would want me to
Give us
say.
a little
I'll give you a
teaser,
hint.
little
Yeah,
teaser.
it's a bizarre death episode, and there's a train involved. So that's all
Hmm.
I'm going to say. But it's
Interesting.
quite a
Okay.
famous, and you may have seen this video, but it was a popular video out. We're talking like maybe 90s, early 90s.
Hmm.
Did you ever see Faces of Death, Tommy?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
What
so
was
there are
that?
these. It's a three-volume set. They were in like VHS cassette tapes, but they were very dark videos that were claiming to be real. Like they showed like kind of like a snuff video, like someone getting killed. Like dark spiritual rituals. There is a monkey like live being eaten. Like they crack open his skull and they eat his brains right there. It's freaking nuts. So that's
Whoa.
called Faces of Death. That's an old thing from my generation. Going, that's all the way back in the 80s,
And
man. And it was
were they real videos?
some of them were real videos. Some of them were very bizarre, real. You probably would not catch it on TV videos, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, do you remember the Girls Gone Wild videos?
I'm not too sure.
Okay, so there
I've
was a
got a
bunch of
terrible memory
DVDs.
though. I've probably seen them.
There's these videos where all these girls they're just flashing and doing all this crazy stuff, and
I've
this
probably
guy
seen it.
his name is Joe. He made all these videos. Well, he decided to make a different one Vision. That also had
Oh,
really.
sorry, we just missed the name of that. Then for some reason it froze. For some reason,
Oh,
what was
really?
yeah, what was the
The
name of that?
name of the name of that video was called, from the same guy who made those Girls Gone Wild, is called Banned from Television. And I have
Okay,
them in my closet. I have the Faces of Death, all volumes, and I have Banned from Television. And one of the stories I'm telling is from that DVD.
wow.
So, but I found, like, I did a little research on it, and boy, there was more to it that I just remember the video and thinking, good God, and it has never left my mind, that video that I saw.
Hmm.
And I did a little research,
Is that
and
out there on like the dark web, or is
it's
it
out
out
there.
there? Oh, it's
It's
out
out.
there.
You can see it on YouTube.
It's on
You can,
YouTube.
I've seen it on YouTube recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the next story I'm telling. It's not this
interesting.
next episode, but the episode afterwards.
Cool,
So
man. Because
yeah.
you deal with like gruesome deaths, murders, wild stories like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we do animal attacks. That's
Hmm.
like the main draw. Then we do true crime. Did a story I would say about 6 or 7 episodes back about a woman named oh my God, what's her name? Um she had a weird name. Shabiznes, Taylor Shabiznes. So she is, like a young druggie, I guess, and her husband was in prison, so she was like dating this guy that she knew in high school, like seeing him or whatever. They went back to his mother's apartment, and she basically, they were having sex, and she killed him, and she choked him to death.
What during
What
during the
while
action?
during the action. Then when she knew he was dead, she cuddled up with him and like was like caressing him and loving him while he was dead. And then she got the idea that, I'm gonna cut off his head. So she got all the equipment, sh sawed his head off, put it into a bucket, and then you're not gonna believe this, started to cut into his flesh and get his organs out of his body and started hiding them around the basement so that when the cops found it, it would be like a game. They would have to, like, find his
Oh,
organs.
wow.
This chick was messed up, man. And so I told
That's
that story.
a real life horror story, man.
Oh,
I
it's,
mean,
yeah, actually happened in like 2019 or something. And maybe earlier than that. But she she was obsessed with Jeffrey Dahmer,
okay.
which gives you an idea why she did what she
That
did. Yeah,
explains a lot then.
it does. It
If you're
does.
obsessed with that dude,
Yeah,
jeez.
she would do these blowout pictures of him and be like with him hugging it and taking pictures of them together.
Oh,
Yeah, this dude is, she's not, it was,
I tell you, I got halfway through. I don't know if we spoke about that when I was on the show about Jeffrey Dahmer, but we got when I was on your show. But
oh
we
yeah.
got halfway. I got halfway through the series on Netflix, and I've
You
not
didn't finish
finished it
it?
yet. I just
Me
man,
neither, dude. I couldn't do it either. Me and
it's
my girlfriend, we watched it. We couldn't stop it. We couldn't, I mean, we
yeah.
had to stop it. We had to
Mhm.
stop it. It was too much.
My dad, especially when you know that that's like it's a real story, you know, like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
happened. My dad went to Milwaukee. I'm sure it was in Milwaukee that it happened.
Yes.
And my dad saw one of the buildings. I think no, but I think my dad saw where he lived, and
Oh
he said there
wow.
was just a like someone showed him. He was on like a work event, and someone like showed him the house or the flat, whatever
Yeah.
it was, and my dad just said like obviously because he knew the story as well. There
hmm
was like a bad energy. Like he was like, whoa.
This had to be a while back, huh? When he
Hmm.
saw it, your dad,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
building has been destroyed. They destroyed it.
It's
They
gone
tore it
now.
completely down. Yeah. But
Wow.
it was there for a long time, and it was empty,
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
But yeah, did you know the guy who played Jeffrey in that show, Peter, can't remember his name, he had to seek therapy. He had to seek therapy after it. It was too much for
Wow.
him. Yeah, it was too much.
I mean, he done an incredible job. I mean,
Yeah, he was
he
great.
literally looked bang on like him. You know, yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine how that would mess you
it
up a
really
little
got
bit,
to him.
getting into
Yeah,
the mind of someone like that.
dude, let me tell you.
Ooh,
So I don't know if you know, but I know you know Kevin because you guys have a bromance going.
yeah, love Kevin.
Uh,
Where the
where
weird ones are.
where well, we do Kevin and I, we do a show every Sunday morning now called Weird Java in the Morning.
Yes, I
And
was just about to
so
say that. Yeah.
yeah, so me and Kevin, we do, like, it's basically like a variety show where we do. little segments,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Kevin's selling coffee now. He makes his own coffee. He
Hmm.
sells that. He's got hot
Yes,
sauce. He's got,
mate.
Kevin,
He's
man, the guy,
he's he's on it, brother.
dude, this
Yeah,
guy, he's like a renaissance man for
I
real,
love
because
it. It's great.
he's making all
Yeah.
this stuff. He's got like protein powder he's selling.
Yes.
He's about to do some ghost production type stuff where him and his cousin are going to do some investigations.
Yes. Yep.
He's
Yep.
got that going.
Yes.
He's got he wants to do documentaries. So he's making a production company to make documentaries. I
Wow.
mean,
Let's go. Yeah.
this dude, man,
He's such a cool dude as well. You
yeah,
you
he's so
you guys are
awesome.
both cool. So to see you guys together, it's a live show, isn't it, on YouTube?
Yeah, it's a live show every
Sunday
Sunday,
mornings. Yeah.
8
Yeah.
a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, and yeah, we get a little crowd going. We do all sorts of games. He plays this game called Guess the Florida Man, where he tells three stories and they're all like crimes, and I have to figure out which one is the Florida guy.
Wow.
And it's pretty fun. We do movie movie quotes where he reads a quote to me and I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We do news
Love
segments,
it,
and
man.
we have an awesome. I don't know if you're familiar with like Mother Like Murder. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool show.
Rachel and Heather. So they join us and they do a segment where they're sharing a missing person of the week, and we try to
Okay.
get that information out there so that people can keep an eye out if we
Hmm.
have a person in their area. We get put up the name, the number, the story,
Hmm.
and they're really awesome. They do it every single week, and it's a good show, man.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. Well, you guys are awesome. So the show
Thanks,
is going
man.
to be awesome. That is for sure.
We should have you on one morning. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Anytime. Because
It's-
that'd work out quite well. Because so 8 Eastern would be, what time would it be? It'd be 1 in the afternoon for me.
oh, really?
So
Okay, yeah.
so perfect.
Awesome. On a Sunday
Let's go.
afternoon. Yeah.
Yes. I'm there, brother. Whenever you want me.
Yeah. Cool.
100%, man. Awesome stuff, brother. So last time you was on Let's Get Freaky, I can't remember what episode it was, but it was pretty close into my podcasting days.
Yeah,
So,
it's like
so
2 years ago now, I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
And it was a great episode. You shared your experience where you think you possibly, I might get this wrong, so correct me if I've got
No,
it wrong.
go
But
for it. Yeah.
you passed away in a possible house fire, and you
Yeah.
think you came back in an alternate reality. So you come
Yes.
back as you, but things were slightly different. Is
Yeah.
that
So
right?
it was like I had this decision to make, it was like, should I take a nap or should I just stay up? It was a Sunday. I remember it was a Sunday, and the next day was, work day. So I was really exhausted. It was like 4-ish. I knew that if I took a nap, it was going to screw up my day the next day. So my initial, decision was no, sit there, watch TV, fucking work it out. But I do have a memory that I did take a nap, and I do remember waking up hearing glass breaking. But when I actually also remember glass breaking while I was sitting in my chair. So how are those two things possible that I have those two memories?
Hmm.
And then yeah, so I think that there's something happened in that period where those two things kind of converged at the same time. And the person, like, I felt like it was two timelines that kind of did this, like they kind of bumped together at the
Hmm.
right exact moment. And I was able to retain a memory of that. So
Yeah.
that guy didn't make it because my bedroom, when the fire came through, he got burned up, because that room was messed up. And I do have, like, I still have it. It's huge now, but it's grown. I have like a patch back here that's like a third-degree burn that I never got hit with fire though. That's what I don't understand. And I do have, I still smell, like today I smelled smoke. Again, I was driving with Angie, my girlfriend. We were driving, and I could smell smoke. And I was looking around. There's no fire anywhere. It's just that memory that stuck with me,
Yeah.
or whatever. So, yeah, dude,
That.
it's a bizarre thing. I can't explain it, and I'm a real skeptic. So it took me years to try to understand what happened, and this is the only conclusion I can draw from. I don't.
Mhm. Hmm.
I can't prove anything, but that's what
Yeah.
I think happened. I think that, there was a little
Yeah.
slapping together of two timelines, and one of them didn't
Well,
make it.
top physicists say that we live in the multiverse and that there could be
Yeah.
millions of versions of us, which
Right.
when you think it does like blow your mind when you
Yeah.
think, uh, who knows, man? Who
Yeah.
knows if when we go to sleep at night, we don't wake up in one of those other worlds and we have all the memories that we have,
Yeah.
but we just don't know. We really don't know.
I'll tell you that one of my theories is because I would think about this, for days and days and days. And one of my theories is if this is true, then you have to consider the fact, let's say for every second that you've been alive, for every moment that you've been alive in an alternate universe, you have to have died. So like birth, moments after birth, there has to have been a stillbirth, or it has to have been whatever.
Hmm.
Every moment from your birth till like whatever you end up living, like if it's 120 years or whatever it is, every moment in between in some other universe, you've died.
Hmm.
It just has to happen.
Yeah.
Another example is I had a 3 months ago today, I had a heart attack. I had a massive heart attack that I didn't feel. Like I didn't know I was having a heart attack,
Hmm.
which, to the way to explain that is I have type 2 diabetes and it was out of control. And so everything that, nerve wise was numbed. So that's why I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all. I was like, the only thing was like, hey, my muscles, like they feel hungry. That's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And just went on with my life, had a heart attack and that was it. The next day I went
Wow,
to
man.
work, went to work, I just like nothing. And then the following day I was like having trouble breathing a little bit. Like at the very end of my breath, I had pain right up here in my shoulder area. I'm like, it must be because I was really hitting shoulders, a couple of days before. And then finally, 72 hours later, I was having trouble breathing, like even little breaths. So I went to go check it out. They're like, go to a hospital now.
Hmm.
Go now. And so I did. They did EKG and they're like rushing me into the operating room because they, sir, you had a massive heart attack 72 hours ago. So we need to check into you. I believe, if this is one of those moments, I didn't make it that day. I didn't make it, dude. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's one of those points.
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be. And there's so
So,
many of them, like on the 6th, on the 7th, on the 8th. It was finally in the ninth. I went to the hospital, any moment,
man.
any one of those moments, you know what I'm saying?
So would you
So
describe it as like a feeling of weakness in your muscles?
what it was, yeah, if no, it felt sore at first, but then it felt like they were hungry. And I kept telling Angie, my muscles feel hungry. I don't know what I don't. That's the best way I can explain it. It's my shoulders, my biceps, my triceps. They all feel hungry. And then later on in the evening, my pecs also were feeling that way. And
Man.
she said, "Oh well, if you're hungry, let's go and get you a steak." So we went and I had a steak while I was having a heart attack. I had a steak, freaking ribeye steak, and baked potato with all the fixings, and a potato soup. And man, I was
Living
eating
it
the
up.
worst thing. Eating the worst thing for a heart attack, man.
Wow, that must have been scary though. To
It
to
was
be
scary,
to
dude,
be
to hear
told
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't feel like I had a heart attack. Because movies, TV, or anybody,
Hmm. Hmm.
they feel it. It's like tense and then they collapse or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
and I had the Widowmaker. It's still half my heart is not viable, they're saying. The right side, where the main Widowmaker, whatever, it's not viable. That the other doctor told me it's dead. That right side is dead. There's not coming back. You're lucky that
Wow.
the left side created like what they call a living bypass. Like it created, these veins or whatever to continue to support the right. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have made it. So
Wow.
lucky. I got lucky.
Wow, man.
Hmm.
Well, thank the Lord that you
It's
did, brother. Man.
Yeah, me too, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been thinking about death a lot lately.
Yeah, I bet. Well, when you sort of, I mean, you had that experience with the fire when you woke up and you felt you was in a new reality as
Hmm.
well. But when you're told that you've had an experience like that, must be so scary, man.
Yeah, it was
Like,
scary because it didn't sound real. I thought they were lying to me. I thought you're probably wrong because I didn't feel it.
yeah,
And
that's
then they
something that you
explained,
hear
oh,
happens to someone else. You know, it's one of those things.
yeah,
You never think
yeah.
that's going to happen to you, something like that.
I mean, for 72 hours, how am I still alive?
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
one side's not working. What? Okay.
Well,
All
you're a
right.
strong dude. You must be a strong dude. You know,
Well,
to experience something like that and you know, to get through it and to just be having a steak, you know.
yeah, dude. Hey, well, I'm not gonna argue with you, Tommy. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
you're probably right.
you are a strong
You
dude,
know,
brother. You are. Wow, man.
I went to I had a CT scan today.
Hmm.
They can't figure out what to do next. They know they have to do something. They said they were gonna wait and do some medical they're gonna medicate you. We're gonna medicate you, and then we're gonna do another scan. We're gonna see where you're at. And they had taken my case to like a conference because my internal organ, my heart, the wiring in there looks different. It doesn't look like what they're used to. And they said one of your veins goes into your heart and then comes back out and it loops. And we've never seen that before. And we, you know, usually we can say, if you have this, you have this, we'll do stents. If you have that, you have that, we'll do bypass. We don't know what to do with it, honestly. So we're gonna wait. They had a conference, they had other cardiologists, they had doctors, they had, you know, and they didn't know what to do. So hopefully the CT scan I had today will
Hmm.
give them some more information. But I gotta tell you, man, I was in it's the surgery and radiology place. So it's like people who are waiting to go into surgery and who are waiting to have scans or what have you. And I could feel like there was a lot of anxiety in the room, like a lot of people who are waiting to go in, a lot of sadness, fear. I could feel it. I was like, it was overwhelming me. I could feel it. It was too much, dude. I wanted out of that room so bad. And I know you know JJ Rose
Hmm.
777.
Yeah, shout out JJ.
I I reached out to her. I was like, dude, I don't know what's happening, but this is going on. She goes, "Oh, yes, you know you are a what did she say? You're a oh crap, I can't remember what she said. She called me a light worker,
Hmm.
but she said that you're a sensitive or you can pick up this kind of stuff and she's constantly telling me that like you can feel this, right? Because I do Uber also. I do ride share, excuse me. I do ride share
Hmm.
and I'm able to tell sometimes when they're doing certain things and I can ask them a question and pretty much be right about it, you know. I can it's like you're
Wow.
tuning into their energy basically. That's
Yeah,
what it,
yeah, yeah,
you know. And so also I always ask them about paranormal stories.
yeah.
Bro, San Antonio's awesome. Dude, they have some crazy stories, bro.
There's a lot of
I
things
got
going on.
yeah,
Well,
let me tell you, can I tell you a few?
100%, man. I want them
All
all.
right,
I want them
paranormal
all,
stories.
brother.
I freaking love it. And so I picked up this one young lady. I thought she was going to like high school or something, but she is actually going to work.
Hmm.
And she lived in this neighborhood that I've heard stories about. So I asked her, "Hey, you know, I have a paranormal page and, you know, do you have you ever experienced anything?" And she said, "Yes, I've had experiences in this house. Like I've had someone scream in my ear when I'm trying to go to sleep and there's no one there. And we've seen like I've actually seen a mug in the kitchen while we're all drinking coffee just explode by itself, just break. No one's near it, no explanation, just you know. But my favorite story she told, she said her mom would go to Mexico, right? So her dad would drive her to the bus station, you know. So whenever she would go to Mexico, he would take her at 2 in the morning because he didn't want her to be walking around Mexico at night. So when he would take her at 2 in the morning, she would eventually get there by 8 a.m. So it would be daylight, and that's how he felt like that would be good for her. So one time they were going to the bus station, and it was her mom, her dad, and her sister and herself. 2 in the morning, and they're going downtown. Downtown is haunted, bro. Downtown, if you ever go to San Antonio, if you ever come here, it's super haunted. So they're driving, and the mother notices a woman walking by herself, and she's wearing like an old-timey dress, like a poofy out kind of dress, and she has a parasol, which is like a fabric umbrella, I recently learned. Um, and she's walking, and the mother's like, "Oh, look at her. She looks adorable." They're all looking at her, and they're like, "I wonder if she's going to a party, or what is she doing out here, and why is she dressed like that? It must be a costume party, whatever." So the girl is turning the corner, right? And there's a building. She's turning the corner, and the car or truck or whatever it is also turning the corner. So they're kind of going at the same time, and they're looking at her. And as they turn and she reaches the other side of the corner, the lady completely disappears. She's gone. She just completely,
Whoa.
yes. And the mother couldn't understand it. Like she was the girl, the daughter was telling me, I saw her just vanish, completely vanish, and I was freaked out because I didn't know how to explain that. Like when you see something like that, there's no reasonable explanation in your mind. Like,
Hmm.
what? So her mom was like, no, go around the street again. I want to see this woman. I want to see if she's okay. I want to talk to her. So they did. They went around, but she was nowhere to be found. Completely vanished.
Wow.
I think she's like from the 1800s,
Yeah,
probably.
man. Did she actually see her disappear as well?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
she actually saw the actual disappearance as
She
well.
saw it just like fade away. Yeah. It was like a solid apparition, solid person walking with a parasol, just completely gone. And I
Oh,
was like, that is one of the coolest stories I think I've ever heard.
that is a cool, yeah,
Yeah.
that is a cool experience, man. Wow.
Picked up another lady. She was an older woman. And I was the neighborhood she was in is really old. And whenever I go to an old neighborhood, I'm like, I have to ask them. I'm gonna figure out a way to. And so I asked her, hey, you lived there for a long time? She goes, I lived there 34 years, and it's a great house and this and that. And then she started to tell me in the beginning, though, when we first moved in 34 years ago, I remember I was so enamored with this house. It was beautiful. It was a big house. It had two parts to it. There was like a garage in the back with a thing on top or whatever. But I noticed that me and my husband would be in our bedroom and we would hear footsteps, like loud, super loud footsteps in the room with us with our doors closed and there's no one else. And we would investigate, but there's nothing there. And then she said I would hear it again like a couple of days later in the living room. And we both run out thinking maybe there's an intruder. Nothing. And she said as the weeks went on, she started to hear whispers in her ear. And it was a man's voice, right? And it was talking to her, but she couldn't make out what he was saying. And she thought she was losing her mind, dude. She was like, I seriously thought I was going crazy because I would hear it and then I would look around and there's nothing there. And my husband thought I was nuts because he didn't hear anything, right? And then she would hear whistling. She would hear like full on conversation. And then someone else happened to be in the house and they also heard it. So she's like, oh, thank God, I'm not nuts. This is a real thing.
Hmm.
So she says like couple of months later, she's outside and her neighbor comes by and he asks her, hey, how you liking the house? And she told him, I love my house. The only thing is we keep hearing footsteps and this and that. And he says, oh, how does it sound? Is it like heavy or whatever? And she goes, yeah. And he's like, is it like boots? And she goes, yes, actually that it sounds like boots walking around the house. And he goes, oh, well, that's the owner, the person you bought it from. That's his father. His father killed himself in that house. He hung himself.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
man.
I was like, what? Are you serious? She's like, yeah. And I actually contacted him and he confirmed. Yeah, he forgot to tell us, but
Oh, wow.
His dad did pass away in the house. He did hang himself. And yeah, that I thought that was a
Wow.
crazy ass story.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah. You get
because
the best.
imagine, I'm telling you, right? It's some
Yeah.
crazy story. But
Yeah.
imagine you don't have an like you're experiencing something, but you don't have an explanation for it.
Hmm.
And then boom, here's the explanation.
Yeah.
And now it's irrefutable. It's
Hmm. Yeah,
it has to
because
be this
you
dude.
can think with this stuff like that you're going crazy,
Yeah.
especially if you're the only one hearing it and experiencing it. When other
Yep.
people are too,
Yeah.
it does make you think, okay, yeah, there's something to this, man.
Freaking
Wow,
love it, man.
you can get the best stories from people, man. And like you, that's one of the first things I'll ask.
Yeah.
And you get that look like I've just met you and you're asking me if I've had a paranormal experience, and
Hmm.
I really do. Like if I meet someone or I'm working with someone new, it won't be long till that question comes. Like that question's and you get that look at first, like really? We gonna go there? And then they'll tell you like this wild story. Most people
Yeah.
have at least one wild paranormal experience that they've had, and then it gets me when they're like, "Yeah, but I still don't know if I believe it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Man, you've seen like a
It's
ghost."
happened to you. It happened to you,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love it because the best parts, like the best conversations are those conversations where like
Hmm.
they're telling you something that normally they wouldn't tell just about anybody, but you're a paranormal dude, you have a page, you have a podcast, right? And
Hmm.
they're like, oh well, I feel comfortable with this person, and it comes out.
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what freaks me out though is I'll ask people, and has this ever happened to you? They're like, no, I've never experienced anything.
Yeah, you do get
No.
that. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
weird to me, man. Really?
yeah,
Never?
yeah.
There are people that
It's
have,
quite rare, I would
yeah,
say,
it's rare, but
that
it's
no
happened
one's
to me three
experienced.
times, bro.
Yeah,
Three times. But I must
because
ask a lot.
because but most people like have had some sort of experience, even if they don't believe in the paranormal. They're still like, yeah, but there was this time where there was a lady sitting on the end of my bed. When I was a
Hmm.
kid and stuff. Most people have had something, but you're right though. You do get the odd people that, but some
Yeah.
people just are so switched off to it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're wrong, but they won't accept it, even if
Well,
they do it. I've got family members that I know have had experiences and they'll still be like, no, I know it's not real,
huh.
I'm like,
Do,
I think it is.
do you think they're trying to fool themselves into thinking it's not real because they're afraid?
I think it's a control thing.
Hmm.
Something I've noticed a lot of people that like to be in control, and because you can't control the paranormal, man. Like stuff can
Yeah,
happen at any time, and I think
exactly.
that takes away your control. If
Yeah, it
that's
does.
true, that anything can happen at any time, then you're out of control, really. I
That's a
mean,
good way to put it, man. I never thought of it like that. Like a person who has their center
hmm,
and they're like their
yep,
belief system, it's
hmm,
they're like entrenched in that. And when something like this happens, it
yeah,
removes that comfortability. And there's,
100%, yeah.
oh
It
wow, I
ta
never
it
thought of it
take
like that.
it takes that away, You
Yeah.
know, they just want to go to work, get on with their life. They don't want to be thinking about this other weird
Yeah, no
world,
kidding,
even
man.
though it's pretty much in our faces now. With the UFO talk and all that sort of thing as well. So
Yeah, it's big now, isn't it? It's crazy now with the
man,
UFO
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
very interesting what's going on, and I think that's I'm not just saying it, but pages like yours as well that get so much attention.
Mm.
It helps the subject grow, man. So I think it's really
Oh, big
cool.
time. I like to push that stuff because I really want in my lifetime, I
Hmm.
want to see them, man. I want to see them make themselves known,
Have you
tell
ever
us why
seen
they're
anything?
here.
Have you seen any?
UFO wise, no. I mean, I used to live in Corpus Christi, Texas. There was a naval base. I was into the UFOs when I was a kid. Watch Project Blue Book, which was an Air Force program.
Hmm.
And really the show was all about debunking everything they found so that, that was the narrative back then. But it
Hmm.
still would freak me out because they would tell the story of what people thought they saw. And then they would say, oh, it was weather balloons or whatever. But,
Yeah.
at night there would be planes outside my window. There were lights, I would freak out because I would think, they're coming for me. But my dad thought I was nuts. But but no, man, I want to see something. I listen, I'll be honest, I don't want to be abducted. I don't want to be
Hmm.
probed. I don't want any of that stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
I just want to
Same.
see them, I want it to be like Dr. Greer says, Dr. Stephen Greer, that they're here to help us,
Hmm.
that they're supporting us, and that's all they want. I would love that to be the case, but
Hmm.
you never know.
What do you
Never
think they
know.
are? I know it's difficult. What do you think it is? Do you think it's like uh, military stuff that we've got, hidden technology that we possibly have,
Oh
you know?
yeah. I
or do
think
you?
the technology we have now is like reverse engineered stuff. Because if you think about, let's say 1947, right?
Mhm.
What did we have back then? Nothing. It was
Yeah.
radio. Ooh,
Hmm.
radio is
Hmm.
so badass. You go 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 50 years, and look at the technology now.
Hmm. Hmm.
We
And
have
and
AI that is tricking us,
it's
that
incredible.
is
Yeah.
creating itself
Some
now
of some of
and
these
reproducing
videos,
itself.
some of these videos, like I don't know if you've seen the recent Donald Trump and Zelensky
Yes.
fighting AIs, which I find hilarious. I
Yeah.
know it's a bit of a touchy subject, but
Yeah.
the videos where they just start, and I know they're obviously not real, it's AI, and you can tell,
Yeah.
but they're getting to a point where give it a couple more years,
Yeah.
and that is going to be like what is real and what is not.
Well, think
I know
about
we're pretty much there.
2 years ago when you and I were doing your episode, there was a Will Smith spaghetti video that was like, I mean, at the time it was like, wow, but you can tell it was fake. It was fake as can be.
Yeah, yeah.
They just recently did another one, and you can't tell if that's actually Will Smith eating spaghetti or not. You cannot
Wow.
tell the difference. It's like, is that him or is that not
Hmm.
him? It looks like really Will Smith eating freaking
Yeah,
spaghetti. Come and you compare those two, it's like that's only 2 years, man. Can you
yeah,
imagine in five?
yeah. Where are we going to
Oh,
be?
forget it.
I know.
Forget
It's
it.
quite scary. It's
Yeah.
quite scary, especially with the AI and obviously with talking about Elon Musk putting chips in us, wanting us to put
Yeah.
chips in our bodies. Because at the end of the day, we've got our cell phones
Yeah.
and we need them to live now. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
without a doubt, we need them. We pay bills on them. We do all sorts and we
I
need them.
make money on mine, that's
You
for
make money
sure.
and it
Yeah.
becomes your business, and
Yeah.
we need them, without a
Yeah.
doubt. So if there is a point where they do start putting these things inside us, which inevitably is going to happen, that
Sure.
scares me, but I think it's going to happen. You're either going to have a choice, whether if you don't do it, are you going to
Mhm.
be able to live a normal life? Are you going to be able to, you know,
Yeah. Probably
work,
not.
travel, and all the stuff that we do now? I mean, it's quite scary, and it doesn't seem
Yeah.
that far away that these decisions are going to be having to be made soon. That freaks me
No.
out. I've got to be
Yeah.
honest. A
They're
lot,
just they just allowed AI, well, actually these robots, they're allowing them to create themselves. Like
yeah.
I was like, what? They're allowing, it's like they pass a law to allow these robots to create robots like them. And that's like,
Ooh.
holy shit.
Yeah. I
Holy
mean,
shit, man.
what are we thinking?
I
Have
don't know.
they not watched the movies? Have they not seen
I know,
how this
man.
ends?
It doesn't end well. It never ends well. And
You
have you
just
heard these like the AI like there's an AI that went off on some kid because it kept asking him and it kept asking the AI for the answers
yeah.
and it kind of lost its shit and told him that he needs to like basically leave me the fuck alone and do your own damn work and you're not gonna make it, you're a loser. It's like what the AI is telling this kid this? Yes.
I mean, it's probably right, the AI, but but still,
I was like, wow, it got
it's
pissed
quite
off, dude.
scary.
It got pissed off.
And I think Joe Rogan shared a video the other day on his Instagram, which I'm sure you saw. And I don't know, I think it was in China where a robot literally attacked someone in the audience, in
Oh,
the crowd.
yes,
That they,
yes, yes. I think
did
I
you
know
see
that's
that? I
yeah.
mean, I don't think it attacked him, but it went close to someone
It
and
went
must
to
have
him, yeah.
started like malfunctioning and looked a bit aggressive as a robot
Well,
can.
they do have RoboCops now in China.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
saw one today where he's they have a cop actually walking and the RoboCops like they're kind of walking towards each other and it's like taking a power stance against the person and I'm like, "Ooh, wow. What if these things loses it, and kills
yeah,
somebody?"
man. What chance have we got, man?
We
Because
don't. It's over.
that's quite
It's
scary.
over.
And I
Yeah.
read an article, I think the other day, Elon Musk is talking about building an army of robots. Do you see that? To
Yeah.
an army of robots. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
what?
just the way
uh,
he's firing people right now, he's just gonna send these guys out to get rid of them.
yeah,
Can you
yeah,
imagine that?
yeah.
Dude,
He won't need people. It'll just be just
no.
robots.
Uh-uh.
It's quite
I don't
scary, bro.
know.
It.
Now, have you heard about the willow chip?
What's that, man?
Ooh, brother.
Willow
So
chip.
the willow chip is it's a new chip created by Google. It's like a quantum type of computing chip, right? It's a huge chip, and it takes a lot of power to run it. Well, check this out. The guy who created it turned it on and was messing around with it, and it basically like so. Just to give you an idea of the power the chip has, a supercomputer that we have now, if you present a certain problem to it, it'll take this supercomputer uh 10 septillion years to solve this one problem. Take a long last time, right? It's like, what is it like? It's a one with like 24 zeros after it, something like that.
Hmm.
This chip can do it in 15 minutes. The chip can do it in 15 minutes. What would take a supercomputer that long to solve?
Oh,
15 minutes. So they're like loving the idea of this chip. They're like, it could solve all sorts of problems quick when we could figure out like how to feed everybody. We can figure out how to like save the environment. We can figure out how to save the air. We can stop pollution. We can do all this stuff with this chip. Well, the chip actually, this is wild, bro. The chip went to other dimensions and was having conversations with other entities in other dimensions, and they had to shut it down.
what?
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. They had to shut the chip down because it was like they were scared. They were kind of
I mean,
scared of what it was doing.
that's interesting because it fits with like the conversations that we have with people
Yeah,
about there being other realities, and we know that there's more going on around us.
yeah.
The
This is
fact,
Skynet, brother.
yeah,
That chip is Skynet right there. That thing
that's
would take over.
wild. Did they say
So
what sort of things it was saying? Did it bring back
well, no, they
messages?
didn't. They didn't go into the details. See, and that's what always irritates me is that they'll say just enough to like gain your interest, and then not give you like, we're not gonna tell you what they said. It's like, what, dude? Please, I
Oh,
want to know.
they must have that information.
They must.
Whoever
Yeah.
they are,
Mhm.
they must have that information, man. That
So
is wild.
there's this dude, and I shared this video like the past 2 years. Like I found this video and I shared it. It was a long form video, so I chopped it up into like 9 parts. And then the second time I just shared it in one. But it was this man who claimed to be he claimed to be on the Philadelphia experiment, and he was involved in the Montauk experiments. So this dude is like, okay, so he said with the Philadelphia experiment, he actually slipped off the ship and into an like a different time. He
Mm.
actually went in the future by thousands of years, not just, like 2029. He went all the way to the year 3000 something or other. Okay. Way deep in the future. And he said that a week or 2 weeks, a week or 2 weeks, and that it was way different. So here's where I'm drawing parallels to what's happening today and what he's talking about. He said there were city states. It was no longer a country kind of thing. It was like city states, kind of like Greece and ancient Greece kind of thing. So there was like, and some of the cities were off the ground. They were kind of floating in the air. So he said that each city state was controlled by a main computer. And the main computer, I guess, they connect with all the other computers around the world, right? They had decided that the population was way out of control. So the population at this time was no more than 500 million worldwide. And so think about where we are right now. We're like 8.5 billion people.
Y-
Billion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is just 500 million. This is half 1 billion people. So, and
Oh,
he was asking like these people all these questions, and they were like, okay, well, say you have a felon, all right? Let's say you got a person who breaks the law. They bring that person to the computer. The computer asks them a series of questions, and determining how they answer that question, they'll either get like a reprieve, but they'll have to work in this weird whatever, or the computer will eliminate them right there where they stand. just destroy them completely. Because if they answer the question like they're gonna do like crime again, or they can figure out that they're gonna be doing the same shit, why
Yeah.
keep them alive? Why feed them? Kill them.
Whoa, man.
Trippy, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was saying that people were happy back then in this future, that people were, there was a balance, a well-maintained balance,
Hmm.
and it was beautiful. There was lush and green areas and what have you. And and it's just, I mean, I couldn't get around the idea that a main computer, a quantum computer, let's face it, maybe even something that's beyond a quantum computer in the future, ran everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Wow, man.
It's
I
nuts,
mean,
right?
that is wild. I know I've mentioned Joe Rogan already but I listen to Joe Rogan quite a lot, and he was talking. What was he saying the other day? Something about letting AI be in charge, basically. And
Yeah.
this is a theory that he's come
Oh
out with, and
shit.
he's letting AI take control.
Yeah.
Which I mean is a very scary thought. I know people are. There's a lot of crazy people out there, and people are
Yeah.
crazy. There are some
Oh man.
nasty people out there and stuff, but
Yeah.
the thought of letting a computer run us,
Hmm.
people. And it's like what you're saying. That is a wild thought, man. And
Yeah.
but as we were saying before, the way things are going, you could kind of see it happening in the future, and you could kind of see like a one. You were saying it's not countries; it's like
Yeah, like
cities.
city states. Yeah.
We're just all
Yeah.
one. The one world. The one world government, which that
Right.
gets thrown around a lot. You could
Hmm.
kind of see it happening, man. I
Oh
know,
yeah.
and as of today, we're in quite a weird timeline with possible wars and it's getting a bit wild out there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the people at the top, they're all crazy, and it does worry me. But you can see how possibly in the future it is all one world and there is one government.
Yep.
How it is not countries anymore, that we're all just one. And I mean, that's a scary thought, but you know.
Part of me is not against, like, I can see where it could work. Like,
Mhm.
part of me is like, okay,
Yeah.
but you have to consider the fact that you putting AI in charge would be putting something that doesn't have feelings,
Hmm.
that is not
Human
concerned,
emotions. Yeah.
right? So if you eliminate that, right? Well, if safety is an issue and that's like the AI is concerned, well, you would have to eliminate those that threaten safety, right? That's
Hmm.
a lot of people. You'd be
Yeah.
killing,
Yeah.
you'd be finding, removing. I mean, they would call it removing. Uh, you would find it and remove serial killers, murderers,
Hmm.
spree killers, people who have broken the law multiple times, people who are not mentally stable. They would see these things as a threat and
Hmm.
eliminate them,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it would be a safer environment.
I guess like with murderers and people that do horrible things to children and stuff like that. I guess in,
Yes,
in that
yes,
in that sense, it's
yeah,
pretty good. That's pretty good.
right,
And as long as people are sort of treated fairly and are free,
right.
I wouldn't oppose it too much. As long as we're
I
free and
mean,
everyone's safe, you know.
yeah, yeah. I've always thought, like, for example, people who are like child molesters, for example.
Hmm.
I've always I'm a scientific minded person, and I always thought, okay, if we can capture these people and figure out why they're doing it, is it because how they were raised or whatever? We can maybe fix not that person, but like
Hmm.
find out if this child is being led that whole way, and we could
Yeah.
stop it at the child, right? And
Yeah.
maybe we can eliminate it altogether. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
But then I start thinking AI's version is probably better. Just get rid of them all. The parents that caused it
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
the people who are doing it, just get rid of them all.
You'd like to think there is a way that you could save
Yeah,
everyone, but I
I
guess
would
some
love
people
that.
you just can't, maybe.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Man.
Nopers can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But a world that was fair, and we're in sort of a world now where it is more, obviously there are countries, but we're in a world where it is a lot closer. Like we can all
Hmm.
talk like this, like me and you are now. You
Yeah.
know, we're all a little bit closer. We all know
Hmm.
what is going on in every corner of Earth. You know, we know well. Maybe some places we don't know 100% what's going on. You know, but
Yeah.
we pretty much know that.
Antarctica much? No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we don't fully know what's going on there. There's a few secrets there, but we know what's going on around the world, and we're all
Mhm.
pretty connected, like never before. So, well, maybe never before.
Right.
We don't know, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Well,
I don't
I can
know.
tell you this, when I was a kid and before the internet, and let's say I saw a movie about a Scottish dude, right?
Hmm.
And it's in Scotland, let's just say, for example. Bro, I could not understand a damn word that dude was saying. I couldn't understand it. He did
Yeah.
not make it was like he was speaking a different language, but he was speaking English, you know? When the internet came on and you were bombarded with Scottish movies, English, this, whatever, any Australian, whatever it was, it became like you started to get used to it and you can actually understand the language, which it's English, but you can actually make it out now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because, and to me, that's what brings us completely closer. Because now I get it. I hear it. I understand it. It's
Hmm.
like the dude speaking English, man.
Apart from people from Newcastle, that have got a real strong accent. Like sometimes even I would need subtitles for them.
There's
No,
some
I'm
stuff,
joking.
right?
I'm joking
It's
to the listeners in Newcastle. We love you. Newcastle's a
yes,
great place.
awesome.
If you talk fast, though, sometimes don't know what you're saying.
I'm telling you, man. But yeah, I think that the internet had something to do with
Mm,
you can talk to anyone in the world. Well, anyone
yeah,
has internet in the world.
yeah. We're a lot closer as people.
That was amazing. I mean,
Some,
chat rooms and shit like
yeah,
that.
man, yeah. But some
Crazy.
some of my best friends now are in the US. Like yourself, man. I mean, that's
Yeah,
and I've got more friends in the US than in the UK. I would say probably.
man. You got to come over, man.
That's
Yeah,
the
one of these
goal.
days.
That is the
Yeah.
goal. But you won't get rid of me though when I come. I'm not going to leave.
Man.
I am aiming to get over very soon. I don't know what part. I want to live in New England. That's like I've picked a place where I think I would like to live
Yeah.
because the
My
names
boy,
the names are pretty much the same. As in the
yeah.
UK, it's all the same names.
Hmm.
It seems pretty close. There's only a little pond between us, and
My
yeah,
my boy Joe from Tales, Trails, and Taverns
yeah.
podcast. He's in Rhode Island.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
And he wrote a book about haunted New England. He's got a book out.
I need
Yeah,
to reach out to him.
it's on Amazon. Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. It's
Yeah,
right
man.
here.
I need to reach out to him, man. That sounds
Yeah, here
very
it is.
interesting.
Check it out. Oh.
Look at that. Haunted New
Haunted New
England.
England by Joseph Jelinek.
Woo-wee.
And that's what he looks like.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
great,
looks
man. We
like a
just
cool
did
dude, man.
he really is. We recently did, because we both have subscriptions on Instagram, and we did kind of a podcast interview. I did my 6 questions with him, and he asked me 6 questions, and then we talked about Bigfoot for like 45 minutes. It was awesome.
Love that.
Yeah, dude, he's great, man. You would love it over there in Rhode Island, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just where I feel like I want to be. I'd live in it anywhere in the US, to be honest. I talk
mhm.
about it a lot, but I think that area, East Coast, is where I think I'd like to land at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. A cabin in the woods somewhere
yeah.
where I can
New
spend my
the Pine
days.
Barrens with New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love that, man. Yeah.
I just posted a little video about the Jersey Devil today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting,
man.
man. Yeah.
I
What do you
know,
think of
dude.
that? What do you think of the Jersey Devil?
Well, I did a little research on it, and it's also referred to as the Leeds Devil. And apparently, going back, I think it's 1700s, there was a woman, she had 13 children. Her 13th child was being birthed, and she said, "Let it be the devil," or whatever. Let it be the devil. I don't care. Let it, whatever. So when it was birthed, it actually sprouted, according to legend, it sprouted wings, horns, and then flew away into the Pine Barrens, and that's the legend of it.
Yeah.
But people have seen it. They've said they've seen it, and then I posted a picture of this guy who supposedly took a picture of it as it was taking off into the air. It looked like a goat with like wings and horns, and
Hmm.
I mean, I'm a skeptic. I don't know 100%, but it looked creepy enough for me to post it, so I did
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's so hard to tell with these pictures, man, and these videos.
Yeah,
As I say, not all of them are real. We know that. I
yeah,
get criticized. I used to share a lot more videos and stuff, and I used to get people saying, "Ah, this is not real." And I don't know. I won't post something that
yeah.
I think is definitely not real. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it's interesting. It's an interesting
Hmm.
video, and we know this stuff is real. There is this stuff out there, but yeah, we don't know if it's always real. But what
Yeah,
what what is great is that more people see it, more people are looking into the paranormal stuff.
yeah.
Of course, everything on the internet is not real. We know that,
Of
but
course. Yeah,
it still
yeah,
doesn't mean it's not fun to look at some of these things.
for sure. Yeah, that's my interest in it. It's
Hmm.
so I know what you're saying, man. I get hate every single day, every single day, brother. Someone says, "Oh, that's fake." I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says "You're fake," but
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
I get this
but
argument. Let me ask you about this because I think you have some insight on this too. Because I get an argument from, and it's mainly from ghost hunters, which I love ghost hunters, man. A lot of my friends are ghost hunters,
mhm.
but there's an argument that some people will present saying that all these fake videos that you post are taking away from the real stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
I kind of disagree, to be honest. I think most of us know when we're seeing something that's real, when we're seeing something that could be real, and when we're seeing
Yeah,
something that's definitely fake. I think
right.
most of us know that. But
Hmm.
I think the paranormal in general, from ghosts to cryptids to UFOs, is more popular than ever, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
don't think there's ever been a time when it's been, we'll say, celebrated and looked into. There's podcasts, there's thousands of podcasts, there's thousands of documentaries and YouTube channels and books.
yeah.
And it's a massive subject now. It's always been,
Hmm.
obviously, the paranormal has always been big, but it's
Right,
never been this big since I've been alive. That
right.
is for sure. And that is because of the internet. That is because there are a million videos
Yeah,
that people are really interested in. And if it helps the subject grow, great, man. I don't see the
exactly.
problem with it. And
I
and
completely agree with you, man. I can 100% agree with you. I think it doesn't take away, it adds to, in my opinion,
yeah, yeah.
it adds to it because, first of all, it's hard to say, oh, this is real because it's not real. It's unexplained. You can't explain it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what the paranormal is. It's unexplainable. You can't really say because if you're going out and you're saying, oh, this is completely real, well, who's going to back that up? No one,
Hmm. Hmm.
because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it's fake and people can tell it's fake, that lends to the unexplained. It gives it more credence in my book. It makes it more interesting. It makes it like you're saying, it grows that popularity.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
gives it that extra, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
people
man.
can tell what's fake and people can tell what could be unexplained. And you have to, I will present if something is good, really good and it's fake. I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes I can't tell the difference, because I'm not an
Yeah.
expert. So I'm gonna post it, man. If it creeps me out, I'm posting it. If I
Yeah.
like it and it's interesting, I'm posting it.
That's how I see it as well.
Yeah.
That's how I see
Yeah.
it. And then I might get a comment saying, "Oh, this is from 1993 and it was debunked back in 1997." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
that's
that's
fine.
great. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling me that. I
Hmm.
actually I want to know if it's been debunked. I want
Yeah.
that helps. But yeah, man. I mean,
Share, bro. Share. Don't
yeah,
stop. Keep
100%.
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if, like, for example, you get the perfect picture or video of a
Hmm.
UFO landing in your garden. Two green men come out, shake your hand, high five, selfie.
Yeah.
You get all that on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. You post it. Everyone's going to say it's fake anyway.
Of
You're never
course.
you're never going to be able to prove any. Look at the Patterson Gimlin film. I mean, for me
Yeah.
that for me that's real.
Yes, I
I've
agree.
I've studied that. I've talked to so many people about it. I believe that is real. I wouldn't say 100% because we can't, but you look at the muscles in the legs and stuff like that, and the fact that it
Yes.
was filmed in the 60s and stuff, and they didn't have the amazing stuff that we have now to make things look that good. So
Yeah,
I think that's real. But even that video, you can't, it's not 100%, you can't 100% say, yeah, that is
absolutely.
definitely
Yeah.
real.
It's
I
real. You
believe
can't
it
say it.
is. I believe it
Yeah.
is, but
I saw a video recently on that and is how they were how she because it's Patty, right?
hmm
That's they
hmm
call her Patty. How she is walking with bent knees. No human can do that, man. Have you ever tried to
yes,
do that?
no, it's impossible. Well, I think,
Impossible.
yeah, for most
It
people, that is impossible.
and then the gait, like the separation of her legs with bent knees walking,
hmm
and she's doing it smoothly, dude.
Yeah.
Cannot be reproduced.
No, and we've
Cannot.
all, we've all seen like Planet of the Apes, like
Mm.
the original ones.
Yeah.
Nowhere near, mate.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
the
dude.
best. That's the best
Yes.
Hollywood's got, you know? And
Right.
and Star Wars.
Good
And
point.
Star Wars is great, but they didn't have like Chewbacca. He
No.
didn't look
No.
that good.
No.
How can you fake
Yeah.
it? Chewbacca didn't look that good, and that's Hollywood, man. That's the top
My
top.
opinion, that's the best Bigfoot footage we have today,
Yeah,
in my
agree.
opinion,
Agree.
because it's clear.
hmm Yeah.
She has boobs, man.
She's got boobies. Yeah.
I was like, what? And she's yeah, and I never noticed it before. And like I was listening to like this guy was breaking down the science about it, dude.
hmm
And his info was spot on. And he says, I think it's a female. Here's why. Here's what you can see. You know, the way she looks back as she's walking.
hmm
The the hands, like you see it on every Bigfoot cartoon or picture or whatever. The little sway of the
This
hands
side.
that
Yep. Yep.
dude.
Yeah. And you see the muscles in the leg
Oh,
move.
dude. Yeah.
If that's a costume,
Nope.
that's not happening.
It's not a costume. That's just it.
Nah.
That's
Nah.
so
It's
I
real.
believe that. I think you're right. I agree with you 100% on that. It's that film is real.
hmm
Those
hmm
people must have been scared out of their minds when they were recording that. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Oh man. Yeah. Just. I mean, they did go out to get a Bigfoot. Like, they was looking for that, and they got it.
Hmm.
It's incredible, really, man.
Yeah. But
What?
here's a question I have for you, sir,
hmm
because I ask this every time this comes up, and I love everyone's responses. But it's 2025. We have, I mean, compared, you can go back at any decade. We have the best technology. We have
What was
that
that?
was weird. That's my Alexa.
Did she do that?
Uh,
Has that happened before?
yeah, yeah. So the trigger word is computer. She
Okay.
hears that, she responds. But we have the best technology. We have drones. We have infrared. We have. Why the fuck have we not caught it yet? Why?
hmm
Right?
It's a good question, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. Why haven't we got more evidence? I know that there's some good videos out there,
Yeah.
which I do think there's more than just the Patterson Gimlin film.
Hmm.
But you're right. Why haven't we got definite answers? And I think personally, I think, and this is just my opinion, could change tomorrow. But as of today, I think
Hmm.
these things are more of a supernatural thing. I do think
Yeah.
that they can come in and out of our reality. You know, I don't know what they are, and I know that gets it's in the Bigfoot world. There's a big divide between the woo and the flesh and blood. But I do think
Hmm.
there could be flesh and blood creatures as well, and there's just not many of them. And if they want
Right.
to stay away from humans, like big cats can, they can stay away and they can avoid us. Someone
Pretty
did
great.
tell me that drones are not allowed to be flown in the national parks in America without permission. I don't know if that's the same in every state. I mean,
Probably true. I mean, I remember I had a my friend from Cryptid Warfare.
hmm
Uh,
Drewski.
yes, Drewski was saying that, yeah, that they will not allow. They don't basically they don't want it to be captured. The
hmm
government does not want it to be captured. He had a reason as it would freak out the public and it would cause problems with the national parks where they couldn't. People would be going and raiding them, trying to find these things, and it would cause a big ruckus, and they don't want that. Uh, my friend Joe Gelinas, the writer over here, he thinks like you do. He thinks that they're able to go in to portals, or like maybe they can go into a different dimension. That's how they're hiding
Hmm.
from us, maybe.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the that would explain why we hadn't caught one,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
these things are seen all around the world. Even in
Hmm.
the UK, tiny UK
Really?
people have sightings. They
No
are seen. I've,
shit.
I've talked to people that have seen them, and and I think if they're here in the UK, there is in my opinion, there's a supernatural element to them
Yeah.
because
Well, that makes sense.
you would have thought. I know in the US, you've got areas that are untouched.
Yeah.
You have got land where you can go missing and never be seen by another person.
Hmm.
Which that sort of blows my mind, but that can happen. In the UK, I guess you could sort of hide out in the forest and not be seen for a while, I guess, but
Yeah.
less chance, I would say. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's a tough
And
one.
it's not like you're taking the Carnival cruise over to the UK from the United States, right? It's not like they're going on the
Swimming across.
Concorde. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
come on.
And
So
and
yeah.
and and they're in every culture. They're recorded
Yeah.
in history in every culture. They've all got different names, but they're the same thing. The wild
Yeah.
man, the hairy yowie in Australia,
Yeah.
wild man in the UK,
The
Bigfoot,
Sasquatch, the American
Sasquatch.
Indians would call them
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Sasquatch.
And the Native
Um,
Americans, all the there's like a million different names for the Bigfoot
yes.
in Native
Hmm.
American.
And they've
So,
seen them. They've seen them. There's legends about them.
mhm.
They've talked about it. It's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Fucking nuts.
That is one of my favorite subjects is the Bigfoot. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, man. So
He's my
I'm
favorite cryptid for sure.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I love them all, but he is the Sasquatch is yeah, probably a big
Yeah.
reason why I do Let's Get Freaky as well because I used to
Yeah.
listen to a lot of Bigfoot stuff and he's like, oh,
Nice, bro.
I want to talk to people that have seen it.
Yeah.
So your experiences, so you keep the skeptical mind as well, which I think is really cool. Have you seen anything? Have you ever seen, would you say, a ghost or an apparition or anything like that?
That's what I want. I want to see one. I want to see one up close. I've actually been awakened by one. Yeah. So I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but the same day of that fire where I kind of that night I was gonna they were like trying to put us up at a Holiday Inn. The Red Cross was there, and my sister calls me. She says, "Come stay with me." She has this house, and it's called Cherry Ridge area in San Antonio. So I went over there. It's an old neighborhood. Also, this is why I always ask people when I pull them up from old neighborhoods. So I go to stay in her guest bedroom. It's also her craft room. And so me and my dog Charlie, uh, we go to sleep in this. It's like a small bed, like a twin bed. I always sleep with the door closed and locked. That's just the way I can't sleep without it. It's got to be closed and locked. Just me and Charlie, and I kept hearing a tap, like three taps on the wall. And I was like, oh shit, what's that? And my mind is like, okay, well, you got to figure out what that is. And so I'm looking around and I noticed that she's got like a piece of paper with a thumbtack on it. And I noticed that when the ceiling fan is blowing, the paper will move and then tap itself on the wall. And I go, that's it. That's what it is. So I go to sleep, you know, and I'd say about 2 or 3 in the morning, I feel like I'm asleep on my right side. Charlie's right here near my chest, and I feel someone grab like a little hand grab my shoulder and is just like trying to wake me up. And I thought it was my sister. My sister is like 5 foot. She's got tiny hands. I figured it was her. And I'm waking up thinking, oh no, a fire or something. And when I look and I'm feeling it and it stops, there's no one there. And I'm looking around and the door's closed and locked. And I'm by myself. It's just me and Charlie. Charlie's awake and she's looking around too. She's like, I guess it kind of alerted her. And then we heard footsteps around the bed. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And the footsteps went from in front of me to behind me. And I was like wide awake. And then I heard a little boy giggle. And it was
Oh,
clearly a little boy. giggling in the room when it's just us.
Oh
Dude,
man.
my dog freaked out. I freaked out. I did that thing when you're a kid where you cover yourself with a blanket, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck was that? And still more shuffling, like it moved back to their side to face me or whatever. And I didn't see it. I didn't see anything. There was nothing there. But dude, the tapping started again. And it took I was exhausted, dude, because the whole ordeal with the fire and all that stuff, it took about a couple hours and I fell asleep again. Finally fell asleep. Next morning I wake up and greeting my sister at the table over coffee, and I said, something weird happened last night. And she goes, oh, you experienced it too? And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about? Mom and dad had an experience in there. Something happened or whatever. And I was like, dude, you didn't tell me anything. What is wrong with you? And she goes, it happens to me. Like I'll be in there doing some craft stuff and something will fall off the shelf and I'll get it and I'll put it back and go back to what I'm doing and it falls off the shelf again. And she said, but that's not the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing is her son Max, my nephew, he's like between 3 and 4 at the time. She said he's been talking to someone, and I figured it was an imaginary friend, you know. And so I'll go in there, and he's talking, and I'll ask him, "Who are you talking to?" And he'll say, "Oh, I'm talking to Coco, my friend Coco." And she was like, "Okay, okay." Well, it wasn't till a little bit later that Coco started to terrify him, like scare the shit out of him to where he would run out of the room screaming, terrified, man. And because of this, because it happened so often, they couldn't take him to like a Halloween store or like Chuck E. Cheese where these animatronic he sees those and he flips out be
Whoa.
because experiencing in this house.
Was that
And
kind of like what the entity looked like?
I don't know. It was like I don't know if it was showing him something that was freaking him out, but he would run out screaming out of his room, having this conversation with this thing. And then later on, she's a psych nurse, right? And she's working, and there's this guy that works there, and he's a much older guy. He's like in his 70s. And I guess they were on a subject about this house, and he was like, wait a minute, is this the address? And he gives her the address, and she goes, yeah, that's where I live. And he goes,
Oh, we froze.
okay, here we go. So this guy was saying that he actually lived in that house, and that he lived with this woman. She was a foster mother, kind of. And he said she was evil. This woman was evil. She would not like, she would be eating steak and what have you, and she would not be taking care of us. She was just evil to the core. And so I asked her to ask him if he knew anyone named Coco, and he didn't. He didn't. But I assume like some kid must have died there in that house, probably under
Wow.
her care. And dude, I want to do an investigation of the house so bad.
Yeah, you gotta go back, man.
I gotta go, dude. She doesn't live there anymore. She doesn't live there anymore. So we would have to try to find out
Yeah.
what the deal is. But
Bro. I mean, that's it, because you've had that wild experience in there, and other family members have as well. So it's sort of, you know,
yeah. Man, my parents, although my dad is like, he doesn't believe in any of it. Like just like you were saying earlier, there are people that don't believe in it at all, even though they've experienced stuff. So he doesn't and, and he has had an experience when I was a year and a half. We lived in this house on Casper Street. Let me tell you that.
the friendly ghost.
Yeah, we were on Casper Street. And my dad he's a Vietnam veteran, so he would he had troubles like readjusting. He would drink a lot. And one night he's coming home from work, he'd had some drinks and he parks in front of the house and he gets out and he's walking towards the door and he hears a whistle, and in our in the Native American folklore, whistling, you're not supposed to do that outside at night, especially. It's a bad thing. Don't do it. Well, he hears it again. He looks up in the tree, and there's a full adult woman looking at him doing this, and he called her a bruja, which is like a witch, right? And it freaked him out so much, dude, that he went around the side to the side door to go inside. He avoided that at all costs. Not long after that, he
Wow.
sobered up. So
Wow, man. Could you hear that a lot? People go to the forest because they follow these things and they never come back.
I've heard that. Yeah. That's wild, bro. It's wild.
Whoa, man.
Freaking wild,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, luckily he didn't go in.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a
Yeah.
little bit like the Black Eyed Kid story, They knock on the door
Yeah.
and you send them away. Nobody hears the stories if you let them in. What happens then? Because that's probably not a good ending.
Yeah, no kidding. Can you imagine seeing that?
Oh, man.
Dude,
I
what would
mean,
you do?
bro, kid ghosts, like you said, you heard the little boy laughing.
Terrifying,
There's
man.
something about that that really freaks me out, like the thought of a
Yeah.
kid ghost. Man,
You and I are on the same wavelength, dude, because
yeah.
that freaks me out. I
Mm,
was so like, there's only two things that really would bother me, and it was the child entity,
hmm.
and I think a shadow figure. I think I don't want to see a shadow figure.
Yeah.
Pass. I mean, I want to see a shadowy apparition. I want to see a full-bodied apparition. Definitely want to see that.
Hmm.
But a child, it bothers me so much. A child
Yeah.
ghost bothers me. I don't know what the deal is, but
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And
I couldn't shake that.
The Black Eyed
Yeah,
Kid is one of the scariest. When you hear a Black Eyed Kid story, that is one of the scariest things, man.
it's a trip,
Because
man.
yeah, it is. They're
One
like,
of the stories is that the black-eyed kids are the hybrid children of alien and human. Uh, and it kind of, if you think about it, the eyes of like, say,
yeah,
for example, a gray alien.
hmm,
Think
hmm.
about those giant eyes,
Big
right?
black eyes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So a black-eyed
yeah,
child kind of fits a hybrid mix
yeah.
of those two. So
They
they're
kind
trying to
of
say that they're trying to draw you to the ship is what they're trying to kind of thing. So
interesting. Yeah,
who
yeah, because
knows?
they kind of remind me of like vampires, because
Yeah.
they're not allowed to come in. They have to ask to come in.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
about that shit?
like I've heard stories where they'll knock on like car doors and that
Hmm.
they'll ask to get in the car, and obviously you
They,
always hear people say no. Like if
um,
you saw a little kid in need, like you're going to help a kid out, so
yeah.
you must see these things, and there's like no, that's not a kid.
How
You
do
know.
you say no though, dude? That's the, part of me is like, I want to help this kid, and part of me is like, I want to see what it
Mm.
wants. I want to see.
I'm driving off and not looking back.
Push it on the ground and take off.
Yeah, see you later. I'll save that for Let's Get Freaky.
Yeah, man.
Man, brother, brother, man. I've loved talking to you tonight, brother. It's been great. We've gone,
Oh man.
I think we're at an hour and a half.
No
And
way.
yeah, man, it just went like that.
Dude,
But
it feels like 10 minutes, bro.
yeah, it's gone quick, man. But I love talking to you always. You're such a legend. And
You, sir.
we have
You, sir. You're a
fantastic
legend.
conversation. Thank you, man. And I've got to say as well, like, I've met a lot of amazing people through Let's Get Freaky podcast, but
Mm.
you are well up there, man. And with the
Oh
support you've
man.
given me from the start, I'll never forget that, man. And you are a
Oh
legend, brother. And
man.
you're a legend to so many people as well. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you for saying that. I
you are a
appreciate it.
very special person.
Thank you, sir.
So
I'm
thank
also
you.
I've also been called the devil, so
Well,
who knows?
you can't please everyone, brother. That's another
No,
thing that I've learned through the podcasting. You can't please everyone. And
no, true. Yeah, and I displease someone every single day.
yeah,
I
well
love it. I
that's
love
fun
it.
though. That's fun.
It's the fun part. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a legend, man. And I'm sure people listening are already following you, but where can they find you
Definitely can
if
find
they're
me
not?
on Instagram. That's the main one. It's underscore underscore down the dot rabbit hole underscore underscore. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Threads. Threads has 17,000 followers now. And I was like, what? I just started
Wow.
that.
And
That's
that's
pretty cool.
tough. That's tough on Fred's as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Threads is interesting. I'm liking it. I also have a YouTube page. I'm trying to get that one off the ground and establish that one.
Hmm.
I just shared a video there of the Elmo balloon. Have you seen that one?
I have. Yeah, where it's walking along and it walks up the stairs as well. How?
Sir. Yes, I don't know how it did it. And did you see at the end? So it was a series of videos this woman put out. One of the most intriguing ones is when it goes to the basement door. She's recording it and she looks at the door and there's an entity at the top corner looking back at her, but barely showing it's you can see its forehead, its hair. You can almost see the eyes. And she freaks out, but she keeps recording and gets closer to it. I've seen that before in a different video. I've seen
Oh
that entity before.
wow.
And yeah,
Wow.
I'll share it with you.
Yeah, you gotta send that to me, man.
It's freaky, bro. And I've seen it twice in two different videos. I'm trying to find the other video I saw it, but there's one where a gentleman he was dealing with like a what do you call it? A mimic of his
Hmm.
daughter who he had just dropped off at school. So he knew it wasn't her. And he left the house because he freaked out. And when he came back in, he took a picture and he could see in that picture a doorway, his daughter's doorway, where the door is open. And he couldn't tell, but he zoomed in and that same entity from that lady's Elmo balloon. It's the same freaking thing, dude. I'll show you.
That's
I'll show you.
weird, man.
It's
So it's
weird, bad.
so it's like it was possibly controlling the Elmo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's freaky. Yeah, you
Yep.
gotta send that to me, brother.
Definitely.
Wow. Well, brother, it's been an absolute honor having you back on, man. And
Honor's all mine,
you're
man.
welcome back anytime. I'd love to talk to you more, brother, as we
Yes,
will.
sir.
I'd love to get you back on soon. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed going down the rabbit hole with us tonight. We've hit on a few awesome subjects, and David will be back very soon for more.
All right.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, share it where you can. That is a great way to support the show. And we will be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for now. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, bro. Love you, man.
Love you, brother.